Welcome to the Tunabudget podcast, your source for insights into financial wellness. Today we're diving into babysitting, child care by grandparents. At Tunabudget.com, home of the Tunabudget worksheet plan and candid conversation memos, we offer insights that simplify budget life planning. We encourage discussions about real-life challenges affecting our finances. Don't forget to submit your candid conversation memo at Tunabudget.com. Let's get started. Having children and becoming a parent come with the responsibility of raising your children. If you have a Tunabudget worksheet plan in place, does it reflect your values you place on your family, your children? In other words, where do the funds go? Sort of like where your heart is, there will your treasure be also. If your spouse and family are that important to you, what have you done to ensure, as parents, that you're spending your money where it needs to be spent? Are you established so that you are raising your own children, as opposed to having other family members raise and babysit your children? After all, having a family certainly is likely the greatest blessing of joy and fulfillment I believe that you can even have. Here you learn about unconditional love as you work and nurture and raise your children. The hope and expectations are that your children will do the same and have their own families, and so it goes. You'll learn how to handle daily problems, practice patience, and learn to be empathetic. You need to be with your children to have these experiences. As the years go by, relationships with parents can become very sweet with all the support and companionship they bring to each other. Raising a family also gives you a grand sense of purpose for going to work each day to provide for their well-being and seeing their smiling faces and funny things that can make you laugh. Sweetheart couple and family memories are paramount as they are created and shared together with plenty of good laughs. Parenthood is a continuous learning opportunity for everyone too. When children accomplish tasks or other achievements, what joy and happiness you feel as parents, as it all makes it worthwhile. Again, you need to be with your children to have these experiences. Nobody will ever forget family traditions either, down through the generations, from holiday and birthday celebrations, and even family trips. Parents also feel joy watching their children making themselves part of the community and their contributions to society. But, and here's a big but, what if the senior parents are doing most of the daylight child care for your children and constantly babysitting? Can these blessings of family life be realized in their fullness if you consider the countless hours you're not even with your children as their parents? Do you need to prepare a Tunabudget worksheet plan and maybe make some big changes? Your children are your greatest and most important blessings you'll ever have in this life. As a couple, you have full-time responsibility as their parents. You share in this responsibility as equal partners. You need to be there with your children to have all these experiences. None of this is easy. Are your reasons for not raising your own children really justifiable? Obviously, there are several reasons shared by many of today's couples where they feel justified in having their parents raise and babysit their own children. After all, they are with grandma, right? She will always have their best interest at heart. You realize that raising a family can be expensive with all the costs of daily living, health care, education, etc. You are aware of your own personal time and freedom as the needs of your children will jump in at any moment. The constant daily demand of being a parent, all the initial sleepless nights, constant supervision, are all physically exhausting. It's easy to get stressed out and fatigue. Work-life balance is always disrupted. You may feel you're losing your personal identity because that's all you do as a parent is raise kids. As kids grow, they change, and they do stupid things and get in trouble too. Relationships can become strained, and career opportunities can be lost if you're not available to take the assignments. You might be missing out on social engagements with your friends. There's always the worry about their well-being and safety, not to mention what their future will be like in an ever-changing world. So there's a lot of reasons to be concerned about kids. Being a parent is a lifelong responsibility. In short, all these reasons are exactly why you and your spouse should develop a Tunabudget worksheet plan that enable you as parents to take on all these roles and responsibilities, come what may, and be there for your children to have experiences together. You don't want to miss out on a thing. This short ad is sponsored by the Debt Crisis Problem Podcast. Attention listeners, please join us at Tunabudget.com to tune in to the Debt Crisis Problem Podcast, where in plain English we discuss the 20 risks that could soon fuel a serious economic downturn. We explore these critical risks and offer practical insights for navigating financial uncertainty. Join us for thought-provoking discussions that encourage transparency and more awareness. Subscribe now to stay informed and be ready for whatever comes next. Reasons why you might want your senior parents to raise your children. Of course, grandparents will likely always provide a loving, stable environment with all the emotional and practical support they can give, right? Especially during challenging times. Grandchildren will find familial bonds and traditions with grandparents. They give the grandchildren a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment, which contributes to their well-being. No question. Parents are also wise and experienced and pass down family values, not to mention upholding your many family traditions. Your parents will likely be more financially stable and can help ease the stressful situations due to the lack of finances on your part. They're also proud of your children and want to bond with them, which is better than a regular babysitter. Grandparents can help relieve your busy schedules, etc. It's true, grandparents do a really good job. Your senior parents may not be ready to raise or babysit your children, too. It also goes without saying, then, that your parents may have already raised a family, you. Sure, it was during a different time, but that doesn't mean it's anywhere close to being their responsibility whatsoever to raise your children. It's not. Your parents may be having health challenges, and taking care of children at any senior age may be a huge challenge, much more than you're even aware of. They also are generally on fixed incomes and with limited resources, which means party time isn't always that feasible. Senior parents are people too, and they have their own emotional needs and can get exhausted probably a lot faster than you do, especially if they have other issues to deal with. Your parents, probably working after more than 40 years straight, could feel a sense of loss of freedom or independence that they came to expect when they retired, if they were raising children or babysitting. Are you sure they are ready and willing to take on a part or full-time job of watching your children at their age? Hopefully there never develops any legal or custody issues that have to be dealt with, as that would make things even more challenging. The more time the children are with the grandparents, the more it is possible that there could develop parenting decisions and conflicts between you and your spouse and your parents. Your parents may also not be all that technically savvy or that familiar with modern teaching practices. Grandparents are also likely to have their own plans as to where they want to spend their retirement years and experiences. You know that they only have so much time and energy left anyway, right? Finally, your parents are supposed to be grandparents. They will always help out with emergencies, but to be caregivers and babysitters all the time? Are you sure about this? I have some candid questions for you. How carefully have you and your spouse discussed the pros and the cons of having your parents raise and babysit your children? How many daylight hours a day, a week, and a month are spent without your children near that are being raised or babysat by grandparents or others? And what is the total monthly sum? Have you prepared yet a Tunabudget worksheet plan to see if this is what you and your spouse really want for each other and for your children? Have you talked about it? We'll talk about it again, right? Your parents may not be as strong as you think they are. How well are you in really knowing how good of a fit it is for them to be raising your children and babysitting all the time? Bonus question. Are you using your parents to support an extravagant lifestyle? Thank you for joining us. Today we explored babysitting, childcare by grandparents, highlighting the importance of open conversations in financial wellness. We want to hear from you at Tunabudget.com. Submit your candid conversation memo and share your insights. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe for future podcasts. Until next time, visit Tunabudget.com for your free Tunabudget worksheet plan, the most powerful budget worksheet plan in the world, yours. Thanks again.